So really, like if we talk about the problem that you solve, it's that person getting sort of stuck in day-to-day activity, right?
That's right. Yeah. Helping them free themselves from being the one who has to do all the work.
Yeah, gotcha.
Making the business work, and a lot of that is client delivery work, where they're face to face with clients, or doing work that clients are beneficiaries of.
Yeah.
And taking them out of that so they can actually build a business that's working more effectively for them.
Yeah, gotcha. So joining me on the line today, I've got Greg Roworth from the business Flightpath. Welcome to the call, Greg.
Yeah, thanks, David. Good to be here.
Yeah, so tell us a bit about business Flightpath.
Right, well, business Flightpath is a company that I started to help support business owners originally, but has morphed along the way into really focusing on helping owners of other professional service firms.
Okay.
My background over the last 25 years really has been involved in helping business owners, and particularly working a lot in professional service areas.
Yeah.
And what I've discovered is that for a lot of business consultants, coaches, people in professional services whose skills and expertise around what they do, whether if you're an accountant, your skills are in accounting. If you're maybe management consulting, you've got a specialization in a certain area where you're helping. But most people in those areas have never really had any training in building a business or sales and marketing activities. So I see most of people like us challenged in those areas. I've been lucky enough over the past 25 years to start, grow and sell 3 professional service firms. So along the way, I've found ways to overcome those challenges, and now I've directed my attention to supporting other people like me, to overcome those challenges around sales and marketing activities and business growth challenges, areas where they get stuck and become really stuck in a business that's dependent on themselves.
Gotcha.
Instead of having a business that works for them.
So really, like if we talk about the problem that you solve, it's that person getting sort of stuck in day-to-day activity, right?
That's right. Yeah. Helping them free themselves from being the one who has to do all the work.
Yeah, gotcha.
Making the business work, and a lot of that is client delivery work, where they're face to face with clients, or doing work that clients are beneficiaries of.
Yeah.
And taking them out of that so they can actually build a business that's working more effectively for them.
Yeah, gotcha. So what makes you different? Like what's the point of difference for business Flightpath?
Yeah, well, I've always come from a very strategic level, or I've learnt to operate more at a strategic level, and having gone through all the mistakes myself, I think what makes me different is I'm not a marketing consultant. I started my work life as an accountant, and had accounting qualifications, and a lot of my work has been in accounting work. I've also run my own business in the irrigation industry. I had a successful business, which wasn't always successful, but it became successful. Yep. So I've actually, been in the trenches in that business, literally, and gone through all the struggles of, finding out how to actually make a business work. Yep. And so I think biggest difference for me is I've actually run my own business, succeeded in business.
Yeah.
Now have actually, started, grown and sold 5 businesses over the journey.
Yeah, gotcha.
So my expertise comes not just from the studies I've done, but from actually being there.
So Greg, let me ask you, what made you go into this business in the first place?
After I sold my last business 4 years ago, I was looking around, what to do next, and not being ready to retire. And I had a meeting with a guy that had known me for some time, and he said, Greg, you've started, grown and sold 3 professional service firms.
Yeah.
Most people in professional services struggle to actually have a business they could sell. And maybe you could teach people how to do that. So I thought, well, yeah, that's probably a good idea. I obviously have some knowledge and skills around that from my experience in running my own businesses and getting through those challenges that most people have.
Yeah.
Now I'm really focused on helping other consultants, coaches, people in professional services to grow a business that they could sell.
Yeah.
And to, along the way, get through the challenges that are holding them back from actually, having a successful business rather than just, working as a practitioner in their particular area.
Awesome. So let me ask you, this is a bigger question. What do you consider to be the best piece of business advice you've ever received?
Wow. Maybe not. Well, it depends on how I received that, but probably from reading, and from my background, you can see I probably read a lot. But there's a book that probably started the biggest transition for me, quite a while ago. A book called The E-Myth by Michael Gerber, and that was all about systemizing your business, or actually, what he called creating a turnkey business. Which meant, creating a business that you could basically hand over to someone else and they could walk in and take over the next day. That really changed my approach. And until I read that book, I really didn't understand about business. I was making a go of it. I was, reasonably successful in what I was doing, but it was still me doing it all. The business worked because I worked in it.
Gotcha.
Reading Gerber's book changed the whole dynamics, and I, started to set up a business that was systemized so that it would work for me rather than me working for it.
Yeah, brilliant. I mean, that's such a profound book. I think it's a pivot point for a lot of people in business where they have that realization.
That's right.
Working on. So let me ask you one last question. In the current economy and the way things are going, what's your advice that you're giving to people right now in business?
I think looking at this current situation as an opportunity rather than a challenge. And for a lot of people, it has been challenging. A lot of people can blame the environment for being difficult. But I've been around for a long time, and along the way we've had a lot of challenges, like back in the 90s, the recession we had to have, if people remember that. Then there was the dot-com crash, and then there was the GFC, and now we've got COVID, which is a different flavor of challenge, but it's just another way of looking at how do we overcome the challenges that this situation brings. And for business owners and successful entrepreneurs, I think we're the best people around to see things as they are, and to see a way through, and to look at the opportunities that every situation that confronts us brings with it, because it's not all doom and gloom. I mean, my business has changed quite a bit from how it was 2 years ago, but I've thrived through the situation, and being able to look at how can I actually make my business better with the current circumstances.
And I think when you talk about change, it's interesting because I remember when the government started JobKeeper, and they started printing money basically, and they said, hey, we're going to give you all this money, and then sitting there going, they're just creating more and more debt. And I was a bit negative Nancy about it all. I was thinking, this is terrible because it's going to create inflation and it's going to devalue everyone's dollar. And then someone pointed out to me, they said, all this money they're printing, they're giving it to people who don't know how to hold it. So they're going to be spending all of this money. And all of a sudden I flipped from going, oh my God, they're printing money, it's devaluing the dollar, to, oh my God, they've just opened the floodgates and people are spending money that they don't have, or they didn't have before. So it's interesting when you talk about this whole idea of opportunity in crisis. And I do think people fall into the negative side and they go, this is terrible. And it's not a judgment call of whether it's terrible. As a business owner, the question is, how do I take advantage of the current situation to allow me to grow my business? So really good message there, Greg.
Well, thank you.
So look, if we're going to wrap it up in 3 words, what would you say as your advice to people right now?
Well, 3
5 words if it needs to be.
Let's see. Work on your business so that you're creating a business that works for you.
Yeah. I think that's an important reminder, isn't it? Because people often get stuck on the treadmill.
Yeah. And
they forget about working smarter, not harder, or working on, not in. And sometimes they just need a bit of a prod in the side.
Yeah. Awesome. That's it.
Awesome. All right, Greg, look, thanks so much for your time today. It's been really a pleasure to catch up with you and just to understand a bit more about what makes you tick. So thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure, David. Great to be here.